All right, you know the drill. We are going to start down here at the Parker. We're going to start down here at the bottom of Parker's feed. I think I'll enjoy this. Little foot catch. Love to see it. Yeah, I did a foot catch and immediately fell out of love with it. I don't like the stunts so much. Like, you know this about me. I love packet cutting. I think it's the most beautiful kind of cardistry. For me, packet cuts have the highest ceiling of potential of beauty for my own eyes. So I'm not mad about it. The arm spread is cool. Short drop. Boom. All right, not mad about it. So I want some packet cuts. You know, that doesn't hit really heavy for me or anything, but there's plenty of stuff in there to be liked. I think this is probably done about as well as it could in terms of packet management. That comes on there clean, and then we get a nice click there at the end. I didn't find it that interesting though. I understand the idea. There's probably something really cool there. If I couldn't count the fingers, maybe I'd feel different. I don't know. It's a fun idea, trying to make it look like it's floating. All right, clean. That swing was all right. Pinch out front. See if I can't pause it. This pinch right here. All right, he's gonna swing that around. He's gonna get some nice motion with it. Comes around there very sharp. Yeah, nothing there that offends me. It's done well. It doesn't go on too long. It's crisp. Doesn't go off topic. It's just that one moment, and that's all we're trying to show. Fast setup to it, fast closer. All right. You know, fan tosses are very difficult. And they're difficult because you're throwing a spread of cards in the air. The wind and the air is going to affect it a lot while it's spinning. So to retain the fan is difficult. But I think that the standard has to be very high for what counts as the fan retaining. So in my opinion, this fan that we're seeing here, this whole thing, is what it needs to stay. If it's not this same size, if these move around too much, then for me it doesn't count. And I think here it kind of just gets small. It's close. It's not so far off. But I think in this kind of thing, you just got to do it. You got to take a few hours of trying over and over until one's just magical and like really retains its identity that it started with. But I'm not mad at it. You know, stunts again aren't for me, so maybe I'm the wrong person to ask. And you didn't ask, so. I like the stuff towards the end. I don't know that I care for this stuff, all that, but this idea is cool. That's cool. Having those packets go different directions, right? One come in this direction and the other one go in this direction. That's a nice moment. Feels impossible. Looks like it's floating. I think if I remember right, which hopefully I do because I just now watched it, but at the beginning we have a similar kind of mechanic where two packets are sliding, all that. that's doing the same kind of thing where this one is sliding this way and this one's sliding this way. So theme wise, that's good. I don't need the back of the hand, but that pulling apart thing, that's totally cool. I wonder if we couldn't make a whole cut that kind of uses that principle more than just a traditional two-handed packet cut look. And then that, I think that moment's strong enough that it could probably be its own thing. These are the hardest ones for me to talk about because I don't want to just be dismissive and just say, I don't like it. Like, I'd like to give a reason why, and I'm just not sure. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I think what stopping this from being a cut that I really like is something that I notice a lot in cuts, which is just that if you watch the hands and the cards, the hands are kind of moving just as much as the cards do. So there's not too much magic. We're not creating ambiguity between where the fingers are and what the cards are doing. Nothing feels like it's alive. Just, we're just placing things. So I think that's what I'd have to say about this cut. It's not magical. And it's not magical because like the distance that the packets are traveling are identical to where the hands are going. So there's no surprising actions or any loose organic feel. It just feels kind of rigid. Maybe this is the one we've been looking for. Let's see. I like that. Is he gonna close it? No. All right, fair enough. I actually really like that. That's cool. I'm surprised by that. And like I said, it's a fairly new deck, so this is fairly difficult to get packets to stay like this. And I like the structure. I like all these opposing lines, this one being vertical, this one going back, and this one coming here. So it's an interesting structure. And I like just letting go of it in this case. I bet we could find a cool way of resolving it, but we're just trying to have fun with cards, I understand. Let's watch that again. All right, come on, start over. And just one quick action, one rotation of the middle packet to get there. This is cool. All right, whenever a cardist has a long black sleeve t-shirt on, they're saying this is gonna be good. He's in full Cardist uniform, long sleeve black shirt. Cardists love wearing long sleeve black shirts. And I do too. I think cardistry looks its best when the body is muted. So let's see. Okay. Let's watch that again. There's good stuff there. I like this structure that gets right here. That's cool. Love that. Crossed over, different grips on each side, but still using the same technology. So we've got a card pinched under here and we have a card pinched under there. And we go back to it. We have another one. All right, that card back there is being pinched in the same position as the other ones were. And we use that to close. I think in this case, I just don't care for the articulations at the end, like these kind of pauses. I think on that first one, on the main moment display, right here, this, like I already mentioned, this is very good. And I think it's good to pause there to let us really see what's going on. But the way this is like placed down where we kind of help it do it, we go there and dip back over. I don't know. Is that a performative thing or a mechanical thing? In this instance, I think it's a performative thing. Like, I don't think we need to create those little hard stops to sell the move. You kind of want the mechanics to do that more than just stopping the momentum of your hands and wrists. But I do think all of that is overshadowed by how strong this moment is. Right there. And we keep the theme, so there's good stuff there. Is that an empty pool? We're down in an empty pool. Very cool, very street. All right, let's see what's up. All right, so there is like a strong theme running through this cut. I wonder if you can see the one that I'm talking about. It's these short edges, edge to edge look. So right here we have one right there, and then we continue, right? These two packets are going to come together down there. We do the same thing. We get to utilize this thing, making a variation because we're going to push up with this. And then we get a fold back here along that same kind of edge. Continues. We get another one through here. We keep that alive, and we have one right there, right? And then we use that to close. So strong theme. Could it be done any better? I don't know that it would look so much different if it was done any better. But the theme is strong. I think the main thing that I don't care for is just how isolated each movement is. So even though the theme is strong and I really like that, it's kind of one packet moves, another packet moves, another packet moves. I love it when cardistry is just one continuous flow. Your preferences might be different. You may not feel that way, but I do. Okay, I thought he was going to do that magic thing where you kind of use the wind from your hand to shoot that thing, but he just reached out and just knocked it over. That made me laugh. So this is kind of like the other one, just a quick little wind up and then have a display on the table. Knocking it over though is very funny. Punch. But it's all face down. Okay. There's two moments there that I do really like. He's going to use this 2 of hearts to get this 6 of diamonds to spin around like this. Back there. That's a cool moment. In this performance, we have a little bit of a hiccup. We don't really get a smooth action out of that. But it's a good idea. I like the way the 6 of diamonds is being utilized. I think that looks good. And I do like this display. Kind of doing this angel out here. Right, his finger's right here. That's a cool balance. So I like both of those things. Closer kind of, let's just get all this cleaned up. I think that would help hugely. But again, that's two things. One, really figuring out what the mechanics are, or what the mechanics have to be for the packets to maintain their cleanliness, their organized look. But also just giving the time of sitting down in front of the camera and just drilling the cut over and over until you get a magic take, something that just looks extraordinary. So in this instance, I would just say, let's just get the standard a little bit higher for what counts as like doing it. You know, when you do a stunt, it's obvious that you did it. Success is clear because you caught it or it landed where it was supposed to, something like that. But with packet cuts, at least in the last like 4 or 5 years, a lot of cardists have either not learned or have let go of this notion that there's a way to do the move that would really dictate and make it obvious that you did it, that you landed the trick. This take, we're kind of, I wouldn't, if this was skateboarding, I wouldn't say that it counts as a land because we kind of drag our toe, so to speak. We're not in full control at the end. Things get a little squirrely. Don't care too much for the resolution though. But this is that same cut. And how much better was that one? That was way better. Because those packets stay clean and we don't have that hiccup on the first spin. So we steal that. So from here, we're actually going to get what I was looking for previously, which is that this packet is going to spin all the way around. Was it a 6 of diamonds last time too? I know 6 diamonds was involved, but we get that here. That spins smoothly and comes out to that position I liked. Display looks good. See, and I have way less problem with the closer just by the packet management being greater. Let's watch again because this is a much better take. Big improvement. Big improvement. All right, let's see what's up here. I'm sure the first few times that I saw this kind of thing, I probably enjoyed it more. But having everything nestled into one spot, I just like having everything rely on the Charlie A. Things are like the only reason that this packet hit right here is distinguished from this one, right, is just because it's laying the other way. So again, like packets are like fighting over a very similar space, and that's like the main action exists inside of the Charlie. So I want to see some distinction in the cut. I want to see packets moving, like seeming to move through each other or getting utilized in an interesting way. Just having them laying in the pocket or in a Charlie or something. At this stage in cardistry, for me, I just don't care for it. Maybe if the closer reflected the opener more, so we get out to a display like this. Maybe if we found something like that for the closer, it would help. But even then, I just don't care for the perpendicular packets just resting in a Charlie. Not for me. I'm getting stumped tonight. I'm getting stumped. I think that mechanic in the back probably is cool. Talking about this one back here. So we get this packet clipped back here. You know, like all this is gonna come down here. And then we're gonna let it drop. So that's probably cool. But not super visual. Yeah, and the hop, like letting the wrists fall as the packet falls. I don't think we need to emphasize it. Like if we just let it happen mechanically, I think it would look better. Yeah, see how we kind of like try to sell it as a big action even though it's small. Just let it be small. I don't think we have to articulate the beats. Just let the mechanics force the beats. What can these cards do? Yeah, I think I'll just point out what I've already pointed out in other ones. This kind of hopping, taking pauses with the wrists, trying to like articulate beats by pausing in the moment, pause, moment. It's not that pausing is bad when it's being utilized that way, but I think it interrupts flow. You know, I think if we just stuck to the mechanics and just let the mechanics do everything instead of this, like breathing, like up, over, down, up, down, over, you know. I think just let the mechanics do that, because that's how you get the card. That's how you get it to look like it's, again, almost alive. Like the cards are doing their own thing. But when you kind of pause with it in the wrong spots or too much in a cut, you don't let the flow come through. So I think this cut could stay exactly as it is and just not be done with these pauses, and it would be improved. There's like an initial action before the actual action. Maybe you like that. I think there's instances where what I'm saying would be wrong, but I think in this case it would be helpful just to not have these little jog moments. They're not exactly hiccups, they're more like he's prepping his hands to get ready to do the thing. I think it would be improved if it did that. All right, back to this one. Dude. See, this is why we start at the bottom. I love seeing things get better. I love people improving. I think that's like the most exciting part of these videos. Maybe not for you, but for me, it's kind of like something that makes it worth doing. I like seeing things improve, and this one's improving. I think this is the third one that we've seen, third take of this one, and this is even better. The spin is even cleaner. Transitions are better. And as a result, I have even less problems with everything. My overall attitude about this cut completely changes with just it being done even better. So maybe I could nitpick and point out stuff that I think would have to change to make the move better, and those are like structural things and not just performance. I think I'm just going to keep my commentary for this cut on the performance, since we're seeing multiple takes of it. And he just needed more time. I bet he could have done this move this well on that first take. And maybe this isn't the last time that we'll see this cut on this feed, but the more time you just try to get the shot, the better chance you have. And it's difficult. It's hard to sit in front of the camera for 2 hours doing the same move over and over, especially if you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't know exactly what you're trying for. But massive improvement. Just two buddies doing some cardistry and dancing. A foot catch. Hey, a foot catch would have been wild. I would have really enjoyed a foot catch on that one. That was interesting. I've never seen a cut do that kind of thing. I like that. I like all that. In the main moment of this cut, I do like it. I think all of this negative space looks cool. Like, that's cool. Like, even though the packets aren't touching, we still understand that there's a relationship between this line and this line and this one and this one and this one and this one. I guess clearly intentional, and he has similar spacing between them, so they still kind of feel connected, even though they're not touching. That's cool. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of thing in a cut. That's a neat packet cutter idea. There's not much liveliness in this. It's one packet moving at a time. So like if we find something interesting in this cut, it's not the motion, It's just the relationships of the packets, the actual structure is what we have to rely on to make this cut work well. And the structure is not that interesting. It's not too complex. It's just right angles. A lot of right angles in these cuts. So I don't know. Let me watch again. Let me not be. Don't be dismissive. Like, you know, just as an example, 2 movements could probably be done at the same time. So we get here, and this packet, like this one here, is going to be brought over to this one. And I wonder if that couldn't happen at the same time as the moment that follows it. Couldn't this packet be moving here kind of at the same time as the other one? Now, if you were to do that, it would disrupt what informs the rest of the cut, which is just one packet moving. So I don't think just doing those 2 at the same time would improve this cut, because then the theme would get kind of squirrely. But I think overall, we don't need so much time between things to register what's happening. Maybe a layman does. You know, I'm kind of looking at all this stuff in a way that, like, when I'm watching it, I can kind of already feel what the grips feel like, and I understand where the packets are. And so maybe a layman does need that time, but I don't think they do. I think things being a little trickier, not giving people so much time to register what's happening, is typically better. So I think this cut could be improved the same way that the other ones could. And that revert's kind of an idea. Like, as a cardist, we understand why that revert is interesting. Like, we know that this packet in this position, before it happens, we conclude this one's going to come down here, but it doesn't. We kind of mime like that's going to happen. Oh, it's going to go forward. It's actually coming back. To a cardist, that probably does feel like, oh, he switched it up on me. That's interesting. But I think a layman, like, it just looks like he made a mistake because it doesn't come down far enough, maybe, or something. But again, it's like, that is a packet cutter's idea that is informed by watching a lot of cardistry. So it's not like the worst thing ever. Yeah, just more of this, like, harsh start and go thing. Like, boom, go. I think that interrupts the flow too much. All right, come on, brother. I like that one. That spin to stall thing was cool. So we get this one down here. Use the thumb to pull it back. Get a whole spin out of it and keep it balanced. That's neat. I could get excited about that kind of thing. We are getting better. I think we saw that one before, did we not? Is it like backwards though? Is the footage reversed or something? I feel like when we saw... No, that's the same. It's the same. The beginning, maybe the beginning's a little different or something. But there's not enough difference for me to comment anything other than what I've already commented. It is done better though. Smoother. But again, if we get rid of this bouncing thing, I think that's like a quick way to improve almost all of this material. That was cool. I liked where he caught that. Kind of like the main moment of that second one, but that first one, that catch is cool. That's cool, catching it over here. Catching it between this packet and this one. You know, there's motion blur right here, but that other packet's right there, and they're going to get sandwiched between this one and this one. That's cool. I like that. Catching it outside of the hand with the palm face down. I think just dropping it too is like, I think that's fine for this kind of thing, since it's more of a stunt than a cut. Just grab it and bring it back to where it wants to be. A lot of the pause and go stuff going on. But I will point out that this looks nice. That looks nice. Everything feels related, and the packets rhyme in a way with their relationships. And in this case, what I'm talking about is the way that these overlap. Right, we have all this space overlapping, and we use that same kind of thing right here, where all this space is overlapping. I'm just pointing out what I think like makes that moment look strong. So that's a good display, but I think we undersell it again with this pausing and hopping thing. Let's watch both of those again. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but just let the mechanics do the stop and go part. You don't have to sell it to us. You don't have to show us that it stopped and started in a new direction. Just let it happen.